All right, it has been some time since I've done a video or audio to mostly because they stole my headphones when I never replaced it. Didn't realize how much the value of my voice is more important than the value of my written words, even though just as much. But that's not what I'm here to discuss. Over the last several months, I've been constantly been assaulted, sexually assaulted while I sleep. Uh, McRaven just basically creates a bunch of criminals and then gives them free reign. 20 fucking 5 years. You have no idea how, yeah, I'm enraged. That's McRaven's idea of leadership. What he does is he whipsaws back and forth. That's what he did to, what's that one black guy's name? Uh, that SEAL who's, all physical or whatever. McRaven did that to him. He's like, you're not going to break me physically. So, all right, they just kept running him into the ground. A bunch of psychopathic bigots. Right now, I'm in this place. Um, got maneuvered because there was no place I just every place was just trying to survive, and that's not the way. That's when your own hierarchy of needs. It's just a bunch of bullshit because this asshole, this fucking psychopathic bigot, the plural, because it's the Democratic Party, Joe Biden, the Department of Defense. I mean, Joe Biden, I would swear to God, if he wasn't so old, if I had met him, I'd take him with a baseball bat and beat him into a bloody pulp. You're probably not going to say, supposed to say, you're not supposed to say you'd want violence against the president. I don't want him to have violence, but damn it, if we did live in an uncivilized time, that's what happens. When we don't have rule of law, you have rule of the jungle and violence. And McRaven right now saying, because he's listening, well, I would have killed you. Yeah, you wouldn't have. Yeah, okay. I'd definitely kicked your ass as a little shit. Because without racism, you're nothing but a piece of shit. See, he assassinated Borda, pretty much destroyed Marchenko with the help of those of the other fleet line admirals of the line. And here we are now. Then they create the Seawolf and these the Zumwalt, and then they don't give these two platforms the radar on the Zumwalt doesn't give it the radar it's supposed to. That way they can say, well, sucks, doesn't work. It's kind of like how the Air Force, builds a base. And now we're behind. Now that we're back in the great power competition, because a bunch of psychopaths can't see past their fucking noses because they really are blind. That's one thing I've learned about psychopaths. They're actually blind. They're just good at just throwing shit, but they're blind, just like extroverts. All the noise they make is because they're blind and they're scared. Blind, deaf, and dumb. Good at bullshitting. Like there was a mechanical engineer. Basically, he was a SEAL, is a SEAL officer. He gets the recumbent bike. Oh, look, I'm rich. I have money. but I don't want to show that I have money. And I hate those type of fucktards. It's hilarious as he's talking to me and he's thinking he's playing me and manipulating. I'm just like tearing his ass apart. He has no idea how much information he gave away, thinking he was being clever. Oh, now he's pissed. And no, that's not me guessing. That's me sensing. And now he's terrified. Yes, you are. Because all psychopaths are scared toddlers, 1 year olds. That's why, from an ontological perspective, they allowed that meme entity to enter their vessel. But this is not the situation I'm here about. You know. So let me get this. So we're at the brink of full fascist state. I think I saw something. This was like 81 billionaires. So if each billionaire had only $1 billion, it's $81 billion. But let's assume it's 10 billion apiece on average. When you take in Elon Musk, it's 810 billion. That's $1 trillion worth of wealth, riches, I should say, because it's not wealth, because wealth is constantly moving, and it's that they've extracted from the American people, and then want to turn everyone into thieves. These are servants, and that's the main thing we're going to go through today is how the uniparty works. So as I said, this was original. Government protects. You have the judiciary, the executive. Because originally this was I had this up here. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is not the actually keynote. This is on the. Oh, okay. I think it would move. So originally it had these. The government's above us, but in our case, as Americans, government supports us, and then we have the rule of laws. We the people, the Constitution, and then you have the laws. Where if you look at the British system, you have the king, parliament, the courts, and then parliament. And I think that's actually a little bit backwards. I think it's parliament and then the courts. But either way, with this being the prime minister going to, um, so let's take this courts, and that's the prime minister. So, and then the courts using the body of law as their constitution as opposed to an unwritten constitution. But either way, it's still all about the king. Now, the Democrats are all, I saw this one guy go, oh, what we need is everyone to show up on the 20th and shut the fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. You traitorous shits. He's like, let's make a show. Woo! Let's make a show. Do nothing. Then fuck their lives over. Get paid. Woo! Pieces of shit. So we're going to go on with what the Uniparty is. Now, before we know how the how they this is how they were controlling Black Americans. And this is the Fed, how they used and controlled. That's not what I want right here. So we're going to go with what the uniparty is. So we have, so right now, what we have by legal structure is this. Under God, the executive is above the legislative and above the judicial. So they gave the judiciary gave said Trump is above the law, which is pure BS, absolute atrocious reading of the original intent. Even if you read nowhere did it say that a president cannot be held accountable. They basically took everything from being law to politics by the Supreme Court saying the president can't break the law in doing his official duties. That's bullshit because it makes it harder for the people to hold him accountable. And that stupid thing about, oh, the president cannot be indicted because Nixon wanted to break the law, and it's still that memo is still in effect because all these other presidents, well, that's kind of useful for me. And then Congress is so feckless, they've betrayed everybody. And Joe Biden's still sitting there, oh, I swear he's a piece of shit, dude. And then the Democrats have to, well, we get it. And then you have that dipshit Mike Johnson, who is pure evil. If Trump is obvious, but Mike Johnson is far more evil. He's a disgusting person. I hate when I talk to people like that guy. Well, I go, here it comes the bullshit. That's the grandfatherly type psychopath. Those are the ones who are like, well, if you just do what I tell you to do and don't think, everything will be all right. How dare you have an individuation besides yourself? Anywho, so the Uniparty, we're going to get to the Uniparty. We're going to do so. Let's talk about this thing. So we got the Uniparty. All right, let me turn this color to blue. Yeah, this is a little bit difficult than blue. All right. Now, to begin this Uniparty, you have to understand, okay, in the French Revolution, the right, as we will call, or conservatives, were the ones who believed in the aristocracy, power brokers, kings, liberal. Those are the left, were the liberal people who believe in moving things forward. And there's always a tension between moving things forward, i.e., the aristocracy, and the people. You don't want it to run too fast, too hot, because then we drive it over a cliff. See, the aristocracy slows it down to try to gain more power. People fight the aristocracy for power. So it's a back and forth push and pull. That's the dialectic. And I moved into this place. I knew it was a setup. Some dude was trying to talk about, oh, the Hegelian dialectic and blah, 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 blah. And I was just thinking, dude, you have not even read a tenth of the amount of books I've read. But you're going to sit there and try to talk down to me. I just wanted to punch the dude, but I just sat there and go, okay, this is a setup. But so we're going to keep going. Um, I really despise a lot of fucking Caucasians when they're obviously, and then even if they do have, lot of information, you're trying to learn from them, and you can see when the psychopaths start their shit and they start doing the whole squinching their eyes and and it's like, no, dude, you're not even listening. This is get the fuck out of here. People give away themselves within seconds; they don't even realize it. So, and so up into the '60s, the Conservative Party were the Democrats. The Liberal Party, ironically, were the Republicans in an odd way. But then they became liberal while at the same time being conservative. This is They were the liberal ones who, because they united with the Democrats united with the mob, who unions used for muscle to go against the corporate interest, the bloated, we would now call the bloated billionaires, to as a counter to the Pinkertons, which was a private security firm used to screw over the unions. Now, in the '60s, due to the civil rights era, because all the African Americans, blacks were under the Republicans, which have them as red, but they weren't conservative at the time, even though they were conservative. It's this whole wackadoo. Business, we'll go business and labor. Makes it easier. So business and labor. I mean, business and labor, right? But during the civil rights, Caucasian labor went over to the side of business, along with the theocrats and the other wackadoodles. These motherfuckers have just pushed out the business persons because a lot of, especially northern persons, do not understand the true virulent need, psychopathic need, because a psychopath and a narcissist do not exist in their minds unless they can externalize their terrible feelings and the horrible things they do to others because they're terrified of their own self. And that's the non-ontological statement. Ontologically, they're demon possessed, but we won't go that direction for the moment. So you have these people who are Republicans, and then so Trump has pushed out the business persons, the old money stewards of the democracy. Even when they're at their worst, there were still stewards like the Orangemen, the uh, the old officers of Washington. So they've been pushed out by Trump, who was originally part of the mob, because the mob was over here on the left. Trump took the mob, combined it with the theocrats, combined it with the southern bigots now and the northern bigots, and then leaving only African Americans as the Democrats, because I've never been a Democrat. I've never have ever, because I'm not business. I'm a business Republican. Colin Powell Republican. You do you what you do in your private. That's your damn thing. It's none of my fucking business. I think it's weird. I fucking, two chicks and two dudes, whatever. That's your thing, man. You do you. But when I tell you these are my boundaries and you don't fucking abide by them, I have every right to rip your fucking head off. I did not usually care about what faggots were doing, especially male faggots. Their behavior has been absolutely abhorrent because they're thinking if they can attack black Americans, they'll do the same thing that happened with the civil rights, where Caucasian women gained more power than African American men. Because the whole thing is you got to keep the African American male down, heterosexual male down, because if you, because that's it's the animal side of us. The patriarchy, fuck you guys, we're not bonobos. It, we're masculinely driven animals. We have no qualms. Most men don't really care if a woman leads, but we're not going into this whole hypersexualized bonobo shit, which is what they've turned black Americans into. If you look at it, bonobo chimpanzee style of things, and it's mostly and the way the bigots did it is this constant externalizing of their negativity. And like Brooklyn St. Michael, as he's been going through and showing how racism, bigotry is a social construct backed by where they use law to back it, to control and steal capital. And then and then you have right now what happens is you get the Democrats going, oh, look at this, oh, lordy, lordy, blah, 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 do nothing, maybe a little thing, and then, okay, blah, 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 blah. Fill money in my pocket, put money in my pockets, we'll do a little thing. And then blah, 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 blah. And then you have also, what's even worse is because of Fox News, like there's this one dude, I don't know if he's still on Facebook, but I haven't seen one of his things yet, but I swear it is like because he's on the team, he's Caucasian, so we're on the team. So if they switch, then all of a sudden he'll switch, and you'll see it. It's jarring, actually, absolutely jarring how quickly they'll switch. If Fox News says, "Well, this is now bad," okay, well it's not bad. And you're like, what the fuck? Do you not have a thought, you idiot? There's I'm free. No, you're not. But he's on the team. He's on the white person's team. Meanwhile, he's getting his pockets picked. But then you have the shame of it all. So we can never, he or she, they can never look that shame in the eye that they got duped. And, and that's what's being relied on. Then on the Democratic side, they're just too worn out. The whole from 400 years of being kicked in the teeth, and that's the reason they don't want. They keep in the military. They try so damn hard to keep out people like me who are extremely intelligent and free thinking and melanated because they don't want the lessons that are pulled from the entire nation being distributed back through melanated communities. Christian, because I'll give the Republicans that we are technically even though we are a secular country, the secularism is based on Christianity, but we are a secular country. You're free to practice your religion in your home how you wish, which McRaven has been violating that First Amendment right, and the Democrats. Now the Democrats, like Biden, will say, "Well, he has all this stuff on us, and we had to." Nah, you could have fucking stopped this at any time. Biden gets off on it. He's a piece of shit. He's a bigot. He's been doing this for decades. Because what happened after the switch, which I was getting to, after the switch, we we then got the uniparty, and the uniparty is the wealthy. They will, and I remember this when I was younger, and I was in my early 20s, 18, 19 years old, working at this one fast food joint, and it was a franchise. One, and the owner was an electrical engineer. He had created a laser um, a lock where you can only get in if you were at a certain time or a manager. That was the first time I'd actually run into a psychopath, and I didn't know it at the time. And I didn't know the games that people play because it was, it was fairly naive. It was just about just where I figured it was about working hard. If you own the company, because I was mostly taught by entrepreneurs, not by I was never viewed. But then also, I never viewed myself as a bitch. So there's never ever had that thought of the way, quote, I was expected to think or the way most people think. And coming from an entrepreneur, we owned our own business. So I don't think as a worker bee. I'm not looking to climb the corporate ladder. It's just like, no, I'm working here so I can make some money so I can get the fuck out. Start my own business, do my own thing. I don't need a lot of money. I just need to be left the fuck alone, which to a psychopath is terrifying. Everything's terrifying when I think to a psychopath and a narcissist. Although they're grandiose and they're assertive and stuff, no, they're just sure that they can throw their emotions around. They're realistically the most terrified little shits. They're still stuck at 1 and 3 years old. They never grew past it. So, so as I was saying, so the uniparty is what I was saying is, and he taught me back then that you give to both parties. I was like, okay, I was listening, so I was studying, I'm listening, I'm trying to learn from this guy, and you know, and so what the uniparty is the rich use the Democrats as patsies, and to these people, these billionaires, there's only like two or three American, African, 4 or 5 Black American business quote billionaires, bloated billionaires, because none of this is true money. This is not true billions. And I said, well, it's true. It's money. It's like, no, because it's not building the country. It's destroying the country. They're siphoning everything. And only those melanated persons, they've either had to give up something. They're all in entertainment. None of it is developing technologies, which is the main thing that they're afraid of me of. Capital for developing technologies. So they use these two, as I stated in one Facebook post, the Democrats have been, they could say with an honest face, oh, they're for the working people. No, they're for the rich to control and lord over the working people. They think they own the average working person. They think they rule over the average working person, not represent. And so what they do, and so what's going to happen next, Trump's going to get in. It's going to be George Floyd all over again. We had 4 years. These last 4 years while Biden was in was the time for marching. But McRaven and Biden violated people's rights under the auspice of, well, we were trying to keep everything politically stable. You don't get the right. If you want to keep things politically stable, don't do politically stupid shit. Violating my rights and violating my free speech, the ability to speak to others. Uh, my boy Decker, his old lady, he's getting up there in age. He was trying to find an old man for his old lady before he passed. They made it look like, oh, she's got cancer. Maybe she does got cancer. Maybe they inserted cancer into her now, and she might pass away because they did that. Now they destroyed a friendship because of Decker and I. You know, yeah, I wanted to hook up with this lady. Shit, she wanted to hook up with me. And I was like, but I knew that she was looking. First, I was just kind of stranged out. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? But then it was, it's about destroying my friendships. They've cut off all my friendships, all my networks. And Biden is such a piece of. I swear to God, I could feel the rage come up. Where I know if I saw President Biden, if he wasn't the president of the United States, the shit he's done to my life, by the time I got done, there would be nothing of him. He'd be a pile of pulp. And if you could just say, well, you're saying that, Sim, no, put yourself in my shoes. You go into the fucking military, serve your country, and this fucking piece of shit violates your rights for your entire adult life, cuts you off from having kids, from building wealth, from doing all the things of, quote, the American dream, so he can mimic you and steal your intellectual property using the government. If you said you wouldn't beat him into a pulp, then you're not a man. That's the thing about psychopaths. They hide behind the rule of law. And the rule of law in America is designed to protect the average person, to protect against the psychopathy. Even if it started out with just, quote, white Caucasian landowners, it was to keep the psychopaths from stealing the land, from keep them from stealing the land from each other. Or, quote, property, because it's everything's broken into property or people. Republicans are about property. Democrats are supposed to be about people, but yeah, no, it, they're still Dixiecrats. It's all about property. Blacks are property. That's what they say. So, African Americans or Negroes trying to claim the word in a positive light, but it's still considered a negative light, and they need to quit using it because the words you use, visualize, becomes the energy that flows. Now I'm at a situation like this whole setup here with the mechanics. I filled out the form. Got a call yesterday. I got to have to call him back. Now I put on that form. I used my brother. He's already been stabbing me in the back. I gave him one more chance. Let's see what he does. And then a buddy of mine, Hopefully, you got the right number. I'm pretty sure he's not gonna freaking throw me on the bus, but maybe he does. But the main thing is, I really don't care because the whole world knows what's going on, right? The whole world's gaslighting me and think, well, we can just keep and fucking. I shouldn't be wasting my time with this shit. I have other things I wanted to do with my life than deal with these pieces of shit, these fucking psychopathic toddlers. That's what it means to be free. You've stolen every goddamn thing I've done. Anyways, where was I? I was just I. Ugh. That's the thing. I keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And that's what's going to happen. And I said it for George Floyd thing. We're going to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Then Black America is going to go to the streets, and Trump's going to use that to declare martial law and take away everybody's rights. That's not me. That's not hyperbole or a hypothesis. Stephen Miller straight up said that's what they're going to do because they view Black Americans, Black African Americans, as pretty much idiots, patsies, and the behavior keeps reinforcing that thought. And then Biden's such a bitch, and then they're going to blow. You should have just gone along. No, violate my rights. You're violating everybody's rights. You do something in fear, then you only get more fear. And then if their next argument would be, well, if you had no, because that's not what was happening. That was never the intent. Kamala Harris was always planning on just, well, we'll just keep whipping that horse, keep stealing his shit. Fucking cunt. No, she's not even. No, she's a stupid bitch. I don't care a fuck. She sold Black America out. She sold everybody out. I understand. Go for ambition. That's cool. You do you. But you're not going to sell me out and then think and then come after me like, well, you should have. No, no. I've never been a Democrat. I ain't on your team. This has never been about either party. It's always been about the Constitution. Period. Full stop. You went against the Constitution. Fuck all y'all. You're going to kill me anyways. Well, if I'm going to die, I'm going to do it on my own terms. Fuck off. And this is the bullshit. European Americans. And now it's like, oh, we're going to be an empire. Oh, sweet. Means you have no power, you fucking tards. So right now, I'm gonna, as I was saying, back with the mechanics. We'll see what happens. I don't expect anything. I'm going to assume they're going to say, well, unfortunately, and then at that time. And so I'll just be ready. I'll pass away. And it's, what was it, the 30th next month, somewhere around there. I'm good with that. If I'm going out, I'm going out on my own terms. Fuck all you all. Fuck you guys. So I'm assuming the mechanics are going to not, quote, approve my new application. Or they're going to say, well, you also are studying the Rosicrucians. Yeah, I'm not going to stop studying metaphysics. If you don't like it, not my problem. Another thing is, oh, we got to try to, you got to stay here. And you got nope. I fly back and forth. I'm going to Colorado. That's where my home is. Those are my freaking goals. And I'm not switching my goals for everybody else. You're In addition to my goals, you are helpful to my goals. I will help you with your goals, but you do not get to tell me what to do with my life and time. And if he's like, well, then you don't get to be part of this. Fine, fuck you, I'm out. Bye. But before that, no, you shouldn't curse. The amount of stress I've been under, I'm going to curse. Get over yourselves. I'm a sinner, not a saint. I am so over all these little petty people with the backbone of a slug trying to say, well, you should have a backbone. Well, we slime along. I don't think so. So right now, as I said about the mechanics, they're probably going to do that stupid thing. I'm not going to give a shit. I'm good. Fuck you. I'm out. Everyone's betrayed me. Everyone stabbed me in the back. Everyone thinks they can make themselves off of my person, and then I'm supposed to take scraps. Go fuck yourselves. Prince William's going to lose his crown. He doesn't have the backbone. Well, I should say I think he does want to, but he has to wait for certain things. But we'll see what happens. Prince Harry, I appreciate. I thank you much. I know you probably. I'm not going to say if everything goes through. I'm not going to say we're going to be great friends or even get along. I'm always been a loner. So I'm cool. Set up the businesses. Do what I got to do. Show up. And he was like, "Well, what about being American? It's better to be a rich man in a small country than a broke man in a fucking rich one." And Great Britain isn't really all that small. The Commonwealth is not that small. And I'm excluding India. All these countries have given up their sovereignty. I can understand what happens with China and Russia, and I think it's bullshit and whatever. I saw this one psychic. She said America and Russia will work together. It was on Paul Sean Ryan. And I was like, okay, but not with Putin in the because he's a white nationalist. And if that's what you think is going on, then I absolutely have no need or wants to be a part of this country anymore because it has no needs or wants for me. It's, McRaven has stolen all of my um, proof of person, stolen my proof of citizenship. Probably right now has gone to where I originally got it, original entrance, and stolen it. And that's the thing. They took citizenship from being a legal situation to a political one by taking it out of the courts and putting it under the president, weakening. Everyone keeps pulling all this power to the president, and it's stupid. Oh, it'll be more efficient. No, well, government's not supposed to be efficient. It's supposed to move slow and blundering on purpose to temper passions. Except on one point, you do not get to overturn the contract by force and violence. And that's why they have these. We're almost to the point where they've almost overturned the Constitution with a call for a constitutional convention, and that needs to be changed. Constitutional convention can't be called if it was called more than 40 years ago. Then no, you're not reaching back to something 4 generations ago, 5 generations ago. Oh, that's still in effect. Get the fuck out of here. Then you got the homosexuals attacking me So as an attack on the effigy of the heterosexual melanated male, so that way they can become the in group. Oh, great. Add more demons to your psychopathic bullshit. European Americans, smart move. Good job. Bravo fucking o. So my thing is right now, I put this post to the 18th. I'm looking at probably actually the 19th to the 21st. That's 3 days. Hold those fuckers there. Force them to pass the laws, voting rights, so that way there is an outlet, a true outlet. Biden is a piece of shit. Chuck Schumer is a piece of shit. And it's not because they're politicians, because they're fucking bigots and they think they can fuck over people's lives and they get paid and they get to laugh at it and go, look how smart I am. Meanwhile, they're saying, oh, economy's great. Doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to see, and the numbers are even showing inflation's up, wages are down, there's a disconnect, and inflation affects people who own property. It does not, it hurts those who are not getting money off of rents. And most of that inflation is coming because there's not any competition. And that's what they're afraid of. Because what I'm saying is competition, investing in the small businesses. From the UK side, Her Majesty's fund is investing in where British Empire, most of the people of the British Empire are melanated. You need to kind of keep them in their countries. And the best way to do that, besides in the 21st century, is to invest in them. But BlackRock and Carlyle Group and all this, they want to go into these countries, and still play the bigot game. It's these same bigots that are attacking Lady Megan and Prince Harry. But from Her Majesty's position, it's just look. All right, you're a person. You're here. Obviously, you're here. You're supposed to be here. And then from a statement to the Commonwealth, we will view you as long as you are Christian, because we ain't pulling some Muslim. You pull a Muslim in, you're going to drop your religion. And if you try to pull, well, you're all Muslim, and so you try to, because that's one thing. Fuck. Islam is psychopathy as a religion. Not Medina. First time he was in Mecca, it was definitely a cool religion. Granted, he was still a psychopath and a narcissist, but it actually was him faithfully stating what the angel Gabriel said to him. But once he went to Medina and Mecca, second time, it was just a warlord and it's just pure psychopathy. The psychopaths are the ones, well, you can't say that about me. I can say what I can about you, but you can't say anything about me. Yeah, a psychopathy. All that cool shit I said when I was in Mecca the first time, about your religion's that. Well, that was just because everybody else has it. I just wanted, I was trying to, bitty, 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 bitty. Yeah, whatever, dude. So you have to be a Christian if you're elevated to the aristocracy in the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. You can be a Hindu within your own country. Like you'd have Modi, he's trying to create this whole Hindu nationalist shit. So he's trying to get rid of the queen or the monarchy. Okay, you do you, buddy, but don't put it on us. Don't put it on Europe. Don't put it on, and that's why I'm a threat. Oh, there's a melanated person because because Hindu nationalism creates a caste system. It reinforces the caste. You know the whole Modi thing. Oh, look, you don't shit outside. Use toilets. In the 21st century, these fuckers are the caste system so ingrained in India that they have people who are still shitting outside. That's disgusting, and it's the reason the rise of Islam because Islam's all about violence. And it's like, well, your religion says my religion. If you're Indian, if you're whatever, my religion says I can't. So fuck you. Great. Now it's gonna be violence, more violence, more violence, and less money made. Modi wants to become the next Raj. Then we have Africa. We have the African and the Caribbean countries. Some of them are doing really well. I was like watching Jamaica, and I was like, wow, they've done really well by just making sure they take care of the economics of everybody first, and not just their own factions. Yeah, that faction might try to get a little bit more, but they also want to make sure they get everything else. Because if you have everything of nothing, then you have nothing. And this is what, but these bigots that are trying to recreate the South. The South fucking sucked. Antebellum South sucked. They gave white Caucasian folks, here's some emotions. We're going to take your cash. But as long as you're above these, there's Negroes, so it's not as bad, right? At least you choose to move to someplace. So I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to get there. I don't know how. I'll get there probably on the 19th or so. Don't expect anybody to be there because why? Everyone's beat down. But I'll be there. Now, black folks, though, they could instead of, it was like, well, what do we do if if we can't make it to DC? You have your no your city hall. You could protest in front of your city hall. You can protest at your state capitol because they're screwing you over. That's where the Koch brothers have really put all their money into taking over the states. So I don't break up states' rights bullshit they brought back. But you can do a GoFundMe page and send one person in your community or two people in your community for 4 days. I know time's too short. Not my. It is what it is. I don't expect much about people anymore. I still have hope that maybe one day, but to see just how shitty, how purchased, and you go, oh, you're gonna fight, fight, fight. No, I don't fight. I don't waste my time on dumb shit. You've stolen my fucking life. I don't get 2 hours of sleep before this fucking psychopath breaks into my fucking space and orally assaults me. I'm gonna wake up and there's gonna be a pile of blood and I'm gonna chop him into fucking pieces. And that's not hyperbole. Because I could wake up sometimes and I still am stuck in a fucking catatonic state. You have no idea how much control it takes for me just not to go up and just start, say, fuck it, I'm going to jail anyways. I'm going to kill you and then I'm going to check out. So much evil in this world. Then they'll say, oh, see how violent? We're devolving as a species. Now, from an ontological perspective, the lower state entities are saying, well, we rule this area. You know, you do not. You are to be ruled. You chose. And the irony is they fell from the higher energy states to the lower energy states, but they still can't feel time. And so they need humanity to steal humanity's emotions, to feed, to stay alive, because they are too low energy. It's like a beat frequency to try to be part of this world that they are not. And because they can't get over their own hatreds and lower state emotions, they can never move to a higher state. And it's funny when you look at the scriptures and things that have been written and you view it through the lens of the ontology I stated earlier about, not in this particular speak, but where the beings need blood or the magnetic energy to experience time so they can move out of their dimension that's just adjacent to ours. But when you look at that and you look at the scriptures and you see things, you go, oh, now I understand why that we're doing that stupid shit. If you view it everything as a standing wave, if you view the soul as a standing wave, if you view consciousness as a standing wave, which means you have to view demons and angels as standing waves from this perspective. Time is a form of a moving standing wave. Gravity pulls time into existence. Things like that. So where we stand right now is I'll either way, no matter what. I'll try to work my way to DC around the 19th, do 3 day protests. I got some other things to do while I'm up there. And that's it. Done. You're going to continue attacking me, and I'm going to spend the rest of my time going to catch me as fucking dead seal. It's, I'm going to go to jail, but no. I'll kill myself before I go to jail. But I'm gonna make sure that motherfucker's dead too. And I'm gonna make it sure it's very fucking painful. And that's the thing is they try to get me to be in such anger that I only when I do transcend, I do have the high energy states necessary to see the true enlightenment. That's the reason bigots, psychopaths do what they do because they need fear and hatred and anger and rage because that's all they are. Mostly fear and shame and patheticness. Because I tell you now, if McRaven had not is not breaking into my place, there's no fucking way in hell we'd be at the situation we're at right now. If the um, bigot oligarchs, every time people say something, I say something and it resonates, they bring out the faggots, the demon faggots, the sodomites. That's why God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And it makes sense now. But the spark of life has to exist, or a body cannot live. The breath of life and the spark of life have to exist. The soul enters when the breath of life occurs. The standing wave can live on its own. Those Christian nationalists, they don't give a shit about kids. What they're trying to do is keep the oversexed black folks so they have free labor. And then they also got to do their replacements, and then they control everything. That's all this is about. Demonic control. They've taken the word of God, the word of Jesus, and turned it into a weapon. So I invite every American on the 19th to 21st to protest, and not just protest, demand Congress remove the Republicans, reestablish the power of the people by removing those Republicans that did not impeach Donald Trump, and then pass voting rights so that way people actually can participate in a peaceful manner in our experiments. Let's make no mistake about it. The Trump family plans on never leaving the White House. And if Trump dies, then they'll put J.D. Vance in, and he'll just be a puppet idiot. But it will get to eventually, they won't leave the White House. And at that point, World War III in its hot stage will begin. But the Christian nationalists are going to be like, whoa, oh, Armageddon, sweet, launch the nuke, sweet. We won't be here. We're going to be raptured. When you think it through ontologically and metaphysically and physically, using physics, hate to break it to you, all your hatreds, like you have Mike Johnson, who's nothing more than a demonic person, no, you're not going to go to heaven because the beat frequency you need to go with the higher states, you won't have because of your bloodlust. So I ask everyone 3 days, or maybe a week or two, because the the trimmer will come out and go, oh, well, we might not grab him by his fucking kike fucking neck and wring it as they hide behind laws that they're unwilling to uphold. It's not Schumer who's going to be killed by these white national. Well, yeah, they will. They can't stand him either. Kirshner thinks he's safe. It's funny. Musk, Elon Musk, a motherfucker. Like he hung out with the Chinese too long. The people have zero representation, and a powder keg is brewing. And it's going to be interesting if these Republicans ever realized they're being screwed, but Trump will then point all of their anger towards Black Americans and Hispanic Americans. And then everyone's gone and you'll see everything's great. But from the perspective of the United Kingdom, that puts the crown in danger because it's saying what America's doing to me. Biden goes to Angola and they're just probably looking at him going, yeah, we know who you really are now. We know what you're really going to do. We'll just take your money. Oh, thanks for the drop of the bucket, but they have to deal with the fucking Chinese. And now they know they're being pulled into multiple directions. But now they know, hey, they're on their own. BlackRock wants to take over everything. They're one of the ones behind the neutering and eventual overthrow of the crown. Along with Putin, they were behind Brexit to weaken the European Union. Now England is completely weak without multiple trading partners. So now BlackRock and Carlyle Group are trying to get into the Commonwealth and break it up for their own uses. Instead of England bringing that together as a trading bloc that can stand on its own. Now you have the BRICS. India is our main concern. I don't really give a shit what China's going to do. But anyhow, I got a couple more weeks. What is it, about a month and a half, maybe 2 months left on this earth? Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm going to go out my way. The rest of y'all can go fuck yourselves. So if you're there on the 19th, gladly see you. If you can't make it, protest in front of your city hall or your state capitol. But Protesting when Trump's squeezing you, don't. That's just a step to kill and start a civil war and eventually World War III. I don't think the flag is going to wave much longer over this land. But hey, there's still a small glimmer of hope. We'll see what happens.